Hello, I'm Faye.
And I'm Becky. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about maximising your potential as a leader and living your best life personally and professionally.
So join us on the M53 for our weekly chats, full of insights and inspiration, and of course, a cuppa and a butty.
Faye, it's called a brew.
Hello, welcome to this next episode of our podcast. Today we have our very first guest of the podcast joining us, the lovely Alex, and I'm very ashamed to say I can't pronounce her surname, so I'm going to let her do that. But just before I pass you over to Alex, Alex is here today to share her story, really, her business story of her business life for the last few years, because Alex's story is one of, I think, a lot of resilience, a lot of persistence. And these are a couple of traits that are really important when you are a business owner or a leader or really anything that you're doing. It's all about having that within you so that you can keep striving forward. I'm going to allow Alex just to tell her story, and Becky and I are going to ask her some questions as we go along. So I don't need to say anything else. Hello, Alex. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Do you want to just introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hi, Faye. Hi, Becky. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, my name is Alex Grzybek. That's my surname. And I'm a confidence coach and business mentor. And I work with female entrepreneurs, helping them turn their passion into profit and create a business and life they love on their terms.
That's fantastic. And how long have you been doing this, Alex?
Well, this I have been doing like over the last year or so. However, before that, I have been kind of in business as well, but I was working with like different people, like in different niches. And yeah, I needed to start over and over again a few times because of many things that happened in my life that I'm sure we'll be talking about. So yeah, like the business mentoring, business coaching, I would say like for over a year.
Yeah. So when I first met you, Alex, we were in a mastermind group together on a coaching mastermind, weren't we? And actually, I was very inspired by you and your story of where you'd got to at that point. And I know that you've been developing yourself and your business since we finished that mastermind over the last year. I would love you to tell our listeners the business that you started and why you had to give it up and how you had to start all over again, really. Do you fancy telling your story?
Yes, let me just share it like in a nutshell. Yes, as quickly as possible. So just to give you like a little bit of the background, back in 2016, I have completed my first marathon. It was London Marathon. And I completed it when my baby boy was 7 months. So I actually started training when he was 3 months. And it was a funny story because I remember when I signed up for the London Marathon, like at the beginning of May, and I gave birth in September. And 2 weeks later, I received in the post, like, this newspaper, "You are in." I was like, oh my God. I was so happy because I know so many people apply to participate in London Marathon for years and they cannot get a place. And on the other hand, I applied for the first time and I got in. On the other side, I was like 2 weeks after my labor and I was like, what the hell? How am I supposed to do this? So that was like, okay, whatever. But so, training alongside breastfeeding and during sleepless nights was crazy. And if that wasn't enough, my crazy family decided to go for the Tough Mudder, which is obstacle race. And they signed me up as well. And that was a week after the marathon. So basically, not only I needed to do the marathon training, I needed to do the Tough Mudder training. It was going to the gym, pushing tires, training with the ropes and doing monkey bars and all other crazy things. And that was pure crazy. I mean, training for the marathon itself is crazy and whatever. It was one of the most difficult things that I've done in my life, but I did it. And of course, this story inspired a lot of people around me. So I started my first online business, Active Happy Mama, at that time. So helping moms getting back in shape after pregnancy, and showing them how to combine healthy and active lifestyle together. Because I have a background in dancing, fitness instructor, personal trainer, so I was qualified to do so. And, I've learned everything about like online business. I had no idea what is freebie, landing page, website, or other things. So I've created that. But then back in 2019, I had a lot of like crazy challenges in my life, because when I was building my business, I was still working in a full-time job. And one day I was basically said something like that. Well, not something like that, exactly like that. You are fired. You are leaving now. We are getting a taxi to take you home.
Wow.
After 5 years in the company, when 5 minutes earlier, I was like, the employee of the year. So it's a long story, like, why it happened. And I know that I didn't do anything wrong. But that kind of, it doesn't matter whether you've done something wrong or not. It was like a slap in the face. And I was like, wow. So I quickly found another job because I needed to pay my bills, and my business at that time it brought like some revenues, but it was not enough. So I found a new job, and I thought that it was a dream come true, but it wasn't. And this other job was completely not my cup of tea, and I lost my confidence and my identity completely in that job. And actually, after a few months, when I was completely burnt out and I was crying, dragging myself there in the morning, and I was pregnant with the second child at that time, when that we have been trying on for like over a year with my husband. And they also told me like one Monday morning that, our cooperation is actually not working. So goodbye. And, so I lost basically 2 jobs within 6 months, and I've never lost like any job in my life. I always was like admired employee. And that was on Monday morning, and on Monday afternoon, I actually lost my baby in the 10th week of the pregnancy. So just to tell you that I felt, excuse my French, like shit as a employee, as a business owner, because I was making some money, but not enough. I was feeling as a failure as a woman, as a mother, as everything, everybody at that time. And that was the time when actually me and my husband, we made a decision to pack our 8 years of life in London and go back to Poland, my home country. And he was like, you are not doing any business. You are not going for any job right now. You need to heal yourself. Yeah. So I came back. It was with the time with the family. It was like, I was getting better. I reactivated kind of my business, but not as active, happy mama, because I didn't feel happy mama at that time. So I was like, okay, let me just focus on moms. Let me just focus on fitness in general. Yes, like ladies. And I started putting this back together, and I kind of felt better. And then I got the diagnosis that I have a vascular necrosis of femoral head, which in plain English meant that I was supposed to have hip endoprothesis done, and I was put to walk in crutches for I don't know how long. And I was like, well, what? I mean, active, happy mama, like fitness lady, running with buggy, yes, helping others. And I'm like, God, angels, universe, what are you trying to do here? Yes, what the hell is going on? So, I mean, it was devastating news for me because, for some, I had like Chicago Marathon, but I got like the place in the Chicago Marathon in October, and I got the diagnosis in June. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, why? So not only I couldn't continue with my business, I felt that I lost my identity as a person, because since early childhood, I was always active, playing, dancing, fitness instructor and everything, running marathons and running with buggy. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so, the story didn't end there. I lost then another pregnancy. And you know what? When I was walking out in July 2019 from the hospital, I had 0 business, 0 income, 0 job, and my confidence was non-existent, like nada. I just walked out of this hospital and I said, I don't know. I mean, I give up. I mean, I surrender. I don't know. God, whoever, tell me what to do, because I don't know.
And you know what, Alex, I know your story, but just hearing it again, I feel the emotion that comes from you. I feel the devastation that's there. And, just to have everything happen to you, just one after another like that. losing your identity, it's a massive thing, isn't it? You know, for everything that you knew who you were, this hugely fit, active lady running the marathon just after you'd given birth. I mean, huge kudos for that, because I can't imagine, I don't know about you, Becky, but I cannot imagine that, you know, but then to have it all taken away from you. So what happened? What did you do? How did you lift yourself back up from that? Because, you know, that's just a place where you'd want to just get into bed and hide under the duvet, because where do you turn from there?
At that time, we actually, like a few months earlier, actually, we made a decision that we would like to move to Spain. And we've done a research trip a year earlier to go to Spain. And we planned to move to Spain in September. And in July, I was walking out of the hospital. And I didn't go for the hip operation back then. I said that I will heal myself naturally. I don't know. I will not have the hip operation before I'm 40. So we were supposed to go to Spain, and we still wanted to go. And I needed to generate some kind of income in order to be able to live in this Spain, to rent a house, to send our boy to school. And so I basically, I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel like coming back to my business. I needed to start, from the beginning. And I actually started with teaching English, because I am Polish. So I had Polish clients who wanted to improve their English. And I've never studied English philology. I have no background in preparing people for FC Cambridge exams. I have no idea how it's done. And I was like, okay, but I can talk. Yeah. So in English, I can talk. And a lot of people, they just wanted to talk. So I was talking. I'm quite good in talking. And I started attracting a lot of people who wanted to prepare for job interviews in English. Because in Poland, and I think all over the world, a lot of companies check your English. And a lot of companies, even in Poland, you work 100% in English. It's kind of low cost of hiring employees, and that's how it works. So I started preparing people for these job interviews, and, I've never planned it. And, think about it. I've been sacked twice within 6 months from a job. I remember when I was at the university, I failed my business English certificate exam, which was a big trauma for me because it was the only exam I failed. And here I am teaching people how to get a job in English. So I just want to say to anybody out there, if anybody tells you cannot do something, you are not good because you didn't pass the exam or whatever, I mean, this is BS. Yes, this is BS. You can do anything. So I started doing that, and basically so within a couple of months, I actually generated the income that I set myself for. In month 3, I doubled it. And basically I said to my husband, if anybody else calls me to have English lessons or something, and I'm not increasing my prices, you need to hit me in my back because I just don't have enough time. Yes, because I was very generous with my offers and everything. So last year, just to cutting the long story short, I've done I think 15 or something webinars, master classes. I created the first online course. I was working with a lot of people one-to-one. I had group programs, challenges and everything. I focused on Polish community when it comes to English job interviews and all this kind of career coaching and stuff like that. But at the same time, I started rebranding my Active Happy Mama, where it was completely different, business in English into confidence coaching, because so many people who came to me, especially women, they were amazing, qualified, experienced, but they didn't believe in themselves, and they felt even not ready to send the CV, even though they had all the competencies ticked. So that was a big thing. So I kind of started doing that. And then when we were actually together in the mastermind with Faye, actually our coach told us, well, Alex, you should do business coaching. Yes, because you know so much about technical things and stuff like that. And, I didn't feel that I'm ready. I kind of started, not really. But then when I was putting this out there, clients started to come, and this is basically what I love doing. And at the moment, I separated two businesses. So I have separate website in Polish for the Polish community for the job interviews and career coaching, and a separate one for business mentoring, confidence coaching in English, which my heart is over there.
I remember really well that conversation with our coach when she said that to you. And I remember your face, because I remember our conversations within the group when you were talking about all the tech that you could do. And we were with, there were other business owners in the group with us that didn't have a clue about that tech. And you were so you are, but you were then so hot on how to actually set everything up technically wise, and emails and webinars and all of this. You were just all over it and ads and things like that as well, because you'd had to do it for your business. So you just made it your passion to learn it, to be able to do it, and to be able to do it really well. I do remember that conversation.
What was my face like? I don't remember that.
I just remember your face seeing you on, because we met on Zoom, and it was like an aha moment, because we were talking about the work that you were doing, and then our coach came out with it, and you were just like, oh, yeah, maybe. I don't think you quite believed it, but that's the thing. I mean, the thing is, I've helped my own clients with business advice and business mentoring. And actually, there's so much to being an online business owner when you think about all the tech that you need, and the fact that you're on your own and you've either got to learn it or you've got to get somebody in to do it. But if you get somebody in to do it, you've got to pay for that help, but you haven't necessarily got the funds to do that. So you might have to learn it. But if you're telling yourself, which a lot of us do, that, I don't know how to get my head around all this tech, it becomes then a massive block to getting going. So all of that confidence work that you do with your clients, and the business mentoring as well, it's massive help. It's really needed. So you're happy in the space, Alex?
I am, and I would like to touch on something what you just said, that if you you can outsource it, yes, like a lot of things. But I don't remember who said that to me first, but like many coaches, many mentors that I worked with, they always said, well, you don't need to do the tech, you can have people do it for you. But first of all, like as you said, like you need to have the funds to do it, but you also need to know generally what's going on, because if somebody does it for you and they don't do it well, you at least know what's going on.
Yeah.
And this is actually very interesting, because just today, just before we were recording, I had like a session with my client. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. And it was exactly like that. Over the last couple of weeks, she had her Facebook ads set up by someone else. And like today, I wanted to get into the ads manager just to see, the audiences, just to see a lot of different things, and I couldn't, because it's kind of, I don't know how it is set up, and I could only see things, and from the first glance I could see that, okay, this is not correct. I would like to see the size of the audience. I mean, what is going on there? And she had no idea what I'm even asking her about. And fair enough, she doesn't need to know, because she has Facebook manager or whoever doing it for her. But just to give you the insight, she spent like almost 300 euros on the ads within the last couple of weeks, and like zero lead, zero I'm not even saying like sales, zero new email addresses, zero new Facebook likes, zero. So I'm like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't need to know everything, but it's good to know something.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've dabbled with Facebook ads. I've never really done them properly, but I've dabbled with them. I remember doing a course a few years ago, and I remember setting up my own Facebook ad. And yeah, you need to be able to tweak because you've got to test it. So you've got to be able to tweak it. And I did get conversions from it. I didn't get a client. My husband set up his own Facebook ads at the same time for his business, and he did get a client. But typical, isn't it? Typical. But yeah, I agree with you, Alex. You've got to understand what the technology is that you're using, and how you use it, and how you can use it effectively and not break it when you do go in. And it's things like websites as well. We might not create our own website, but we should know how to. Becky's laughing here because I know I'm speaking to her here when I say you should know how to go into the back end and make those little changes if you need to.
Yeah, I'm aware I've been very quiet on this podcast.
You have.
So far.
I'm worried about you.
I have to say a few things, a few reasons. So, as Faye very rightly said at the start of this, I didn't know Alex's story before we came on, and part of me wishes I had, because I feel like I've been sucker punched a bit, to be quite honest. And after you shared that with us, I actually didn't know what to say, so I was actually really glad that Faye sort of that took over there, because goodness me, what a few years you had. But now that you're talking about technology, yes. Yeah, and technology in business, and tech is my nemesis, and it scares me to death, frankly. And you're absolutely right. And Faye has a pop at me quite regularly about this, because I'm petrified of my tech. And even though I had a great lady who set up my website and she walked me through everything on the back end, she even recorded it all for me so I can go back and look. And I'm still petrified of doing it. In my head, tech is this huge block, this huge thing to get over, which is silly. It doesn't need to be. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a story that we often tell ourselves, that I can't do the tech. And yeah, that was so yes, that is definitely me.
It is you. It is Becky, Alex, I'll tell you that. But I think, when you're working with a coach or a mentor, and they can actually help you with that, because, and I say that from experience, because when I was setting up my business, my coach that I worked with at the time, yes, she coached me on all the mindset-y stuff, but then she rolled her sleeves up with me over Zoom. We did this all over Zoom. She rolled her sleeves up and she helped me set up my website. She helped me set up my email list. She helped me set up my nurture sequence. And yeah, it was my stuff, although she did really help me write my landing page. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Marketing was a really strong point that she had. It was a massive help to me, because I went from zero to having a business that was up and running. It was a massive thing. I probably, because I completely understand where Becky's coming from. Tech for me at that time was this crazy thing that I really didn't know how to do. I did have a website, but it was terrible. And she really helped me turn it into something that I was proud of, because I had website shame before that. I'd got this website, but I didn't tell anybody about it. And she turned that around for me completely. And my website today looks quite different to how it did then. But that's only because it's grown and evolved as I have and as my business has. But my goodness me, to have somebody who held my hand and helped me set that up, that was a massive thing. And you're doing this for your clients now, Alex.
I do. And you know what? This is very good what you are saying, like, guiding, like helping, even like what Becky said, like recording something for me. So, because if somebody is guiding you, I mean, if you guide your clients, if I guide my clients, it's like easy for me. Yes. But they're like, oh my God, slow down, slow down. Yes. And like recording it, it's a massive, massive help. And I do believe that's why, come on, as I said at the beginning, when I started Active Happy Mama, I had no idea about this. And I invested a lot of money into a program back then, and I was learning every single thing. And over the last few years, I invested a lot. And I can see it as well right now. Because like last year when I was thinking about, okay, maybe let's transition, do business coaching. Oh my God, how can I do it? I haven't done 7 figures, even 6 figures yet. How can I make it happen? But even when I'm working with my clients right now, I'm so shocked that there are so many technically little things maybe for me that people don't know about. And I'm not marketing myself as like, I help you get to 7 figures, because I haven't been there yet myself. But I mean, doing a lot of technical things, connecting with emails. Yes. Calendly, booking calls, like with opportunity to book calls with your clients, not to even mention webinars, because I do a lot of masterclasses and webinars. There are so many details that we can help clients with, and we take it for granted. So we need to own what we know and how we can help other people spread their wings, the same way like somebody helped us in the past.
I love that message, Alex. I love that, because I think sometimes we think that everyone knows what we know, don't we? We think, well, so who am I to be sharing that with them? Because I know it, so everyone else must know it. But you are absolutely spot on. There's so many things that you know that others don't. And so, yeah, own that and run with it and work with it and help other people. I love that.
I love that too. And I want to pick up on the 6 and 7 figure thing, because we can't all go from 0 to 6 or 7 figures. And we don't all want to either. And I think there's a lot said about 6 and 7 figures in the online world. And it's something that I try to remove myself from, because for me, my business is about helping people get to where they want to be. And yeah, that might be 6 or 7 figures, but it's more about helping them with their own sort of self-awareness, self-belief, confidence, self-leadership, and all of that. And then if that then helps them to get to 6 and 7 figures, great. But there's so much in the online world about that. But we've all got to start somewhere. We've all got to start with getting our business off the ground and working out what our business is and working out what those things are where we are ahead of other people that we can help other people with. What are we experts in ourselves? How can we help others? And, you know, for you, Alex, when you turn around and you're able to say, I can help you with the email list, I can help you with the website, I can help you with the ads. If that's what somebody wants, then they need you. That's where they need you to be. So, yeah. I think what this website, you know, talking to you, Alex, throughout all of your story that you've talked about in terms of being a business owner, your resilience and your persistence to achieve and meet your goals and dreams shines through. And I guess I'd like to say to you, I'd like to ask you the question, you know, when you look back, how do you feel about your story and for everything that's happened to you? And there have been some very dark times. Where are you now in terms of moving forward? Where are you now in terms of your mindset to move forward? How does it feel for you?
That's a very good question. When I look back, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I may not understand it. I didn't understand it back then. To be quite honest, some of the things I still don't understand now, but I don't have to. I don't have to. When it comes to, like, you know, being fired from the jobs, I was thinking about quitting and going full on in the business for many months prior to that, but I was afraid. So then somebody else made a decision for me, and I'm so super grateful, actually, right now. You know, I was mad at the time. I still think the way it was done, it was not the right way, but that really gave me that kick that I don't want to work for somebody else, and I will not. I will make it on my own. However, I will do it no matter what. And at the moment, I'm living, you know, in Spain, in beautiful Alicante, when the sun is shining like 300 something days in a year. And I absolutely love it. I can work from anywhere in the world. And that was, you know, this kind of, maybe I needed somebody to make this decision for me. Other things helped me become the person who I am today and like share my story. So, and moving forward with my business, because I'm expanding much more into this business mentoring and like I'm helping people right now with the webinars. And sometimes I feel, oh my God, I'm starting from scratch again. But all these experiences showed me that keep going, don't give up. If you are feeling that you are throwing spaghetti on the wall and maybe it will stick, it will. Just keep going, be persistent, keep showing up, and it will happen. Yes, and it is happening already. And I would like to say to everybody who is listening, like, honestly, you will have doubts. You will have people doubting you like so much. But if you have a desire in your heart, it's meant for you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there in the first place. And own it. See the vision of have this vision of yourself, where you are heading, what you are doing, bring it to the present moment and leave it now. And it will happen. Keep going.
Fantastic. What a brilliant, brilliant message. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you for coming on and for sharing your story with us and for those closing remarks. Yeah, it doesn't happen often that I'm speechless, and it's not very useful on a podcast. But you've got me today. So thank you for that, Alex.
Yeah, and you have got Becky, because it's really not often that she's speechless. But Alex, where can people find you online? You know, if people want to connect with you and hear you talk, because you have your own podcast. So where can people find you, and what's the name of your podcast, and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, alexgrzybek.com. I know it will be in the show notes, so it will be easy. Yes, and I'm as Alex Grzybek on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, of course, YouTube. And my podcast is Confidence Rockstar. I released it almost 2 years ago, and it was also a dream, and I made it happen in 5 weeks from I have no idea to make it happen. So I would love you to come over, come on board, and thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute joy. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Meet Me on the M53. If you'd like to know more, you can see Becky at questforest.co.uk and Faye at fayeblakey.com.
Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode, and thank you to Wahoo Media for our production. We'll see you next time on the M53.
Safe travels.